Hi everybody, my name is Jim. I'm the Lake Effect Gardener, and today is going to be just a fun little short video on what to do with all of those extra pots that you may have lying around. We all have them, lots of them. And me, I think I have more than others. You have these pots that you get with plants, and they are very utilitarian. They're not very attractive, but they do their jobs well. And if you aren't a hoarder like me, then you'll probably have a good use for these. I still use these to pot on my plants if it's not ready to go out into the garden yet, but I have so many of them that I just kind of was sitting one night thinking about how could I possibly make them useful. Okay, so I have a couple of ideas. I'm going to be using this as an example. I have a couple others that I want to show you, but if you are savvy with a crochet hook, and this is a great activity to do when you're just kind of staring at a television screen or a computer screen or at your phone, and you don't have much going on, the sun has gone down, or the weather is inclement or whatever. This is a really interesting and fun project that I just kind of hatched in my mind. I'm sure it's been done before, but I'm not going to say it's original to me, but it's something to keep your mind busy, your hands busy, and it also gives you that sense of that you're accomplishing something in the garden when you're not really accomplishing anything in the garden. Does that make sense? So I've got a huge roll of jute twine, 800 feet, and this was just a couple of bucks at a smaller hardware store. I've decided to not go for the big box store. I went to this smaller hardware store to purchase something that the big box stores did not have. And so I thought while I was there, I'd take a cursory look around and everything. And I was like, oh, you know what? I'm running out of my jute twine. So I asked them, could you show me where it is? And they were very nice. And it was very easy to find someone to help you. So she brings me over to the place where they have the jute twine, a whole wall of different natural fiber twines. I was over the moon. Usually when you go to a big box store, they'll maybe have 3 or 4, and there'll be small rolls, and that's typically what I've been using. Oh, not this place. It was heaven, and they had some in different colors and things like that. None that I was all too, I didn't really care for them. So I went with the natural, and so I'm thinking to myself, I could do something to doll these ugly pots up. And, you could paint them, which, yeah, I guess that would work. But I thought I wanted to add a little texture, a little something. So anyways, long story short, I got out my crochet hook, and I haven't been crocheting in quite some time. I've been on a real knitting kick. And I blame the fact that I've been binging on Arna and Carlos. I don't know if you guys have ever seen their channel on YouTube. If you haven't, check them out. They're amazing. The color work that they do, and they do everything in the Norwegian style. It's amazing. Anyways, so I pulled out my crochet hook, and I was like, you know what? I'm a fast crocheter. This is something that can be done in the evening. I'm going to build kind of like a cozy for it, a sleeve, if I may. So what I did, and I'll show you what it looks like when it's all done and everything. But what I did was I started from the bottom, because of these pots here, they start smaller at the bottom and then they get larger. And the idea is, even though it's jute twine, it will have a propensity to stretch a little bit once it's rained. So I started at the bottom, and that's kind of the diameter that I decided to make it. So the first thing you want to do is you want to chain All right, and you want to chain. There's no specific plan to this, guys. It's all about, you know, just kind of winging it. All pots are different sizes, etc. The thing I love about crocheting is that if you make a mistake, it's so easy to fix. It's not like knitting where you drop a stitch and then the world comes crashing down around you. So you make a chain, and it's going to be, you want the chain to be the diameter of the bottom of the pot. Okay, and I'm almost there. All right. Yeah, that looks about right. So what I'm going to do now you have two options. The first option is to join the chain, and you could do it kind of in the round. I tried that avenue first, and it looked a little wonky. I don't know why. Maybe it's because of the material that I'm using. So instead what I did was I started just doing rows. Okay, so basically I'm going to be crocheting a panel, all right, that will go all the way around, and then what I'll do is I will stitch the panel together to create the cozy, the pot cozy. Isn't that nice? Okay, so whenever you start a new row, make sure, I'll let me just show you because I just did it without showing you. Always throw in an extra chain, okay? So that your squares, or sorry, your rows are nice and even. If you don't do that, you're going to end up getting kind of like a triangular shape. It's not going to be a perfect square or rectangle. Okay, so make sure that you add the stitch on either side. All right, I'm going to get on with this, and I will show you what it looks like once the first row is done, so that you can get a better idea of, you know, what this is going to eventually look like once it's all crocheted. I have done another one, and to tell you the truth, I did it with the jute twine that I had on hand, which was kind of a very homely. Okay, so homely in Britain is a little bit different than homely in America. Homely in Britain means cozy. We don't say homely, we say homey. Okay, homely, for me at least, tends to be ugly. Oh dear. So anyways, it didn't look homely in the sense of being warm and cozy and, you know, inviting. It was homely as in ugly. So what I did was I ended up painting the first sleeve that I did, the first cozy that I did. I painted a color that I thought wasn't as, I don't know, it seemed very dated. It looked like it came out of the 1970s. Not that there's anything wrong with that, and you know how I am about like vintage and everything, but 70s, even though I was born in the 70s, not really my cup of tea. So anyways, I did paint it, and I felt that that's going to add a whole nother level of protection to the jute twine, as well as to, you know, kind of give it a little bit more longevity, which is really nice. And I do have extra, you know, spray paints on hand, so it was nice to kind of have that instant gratification once it was all done. I slipped the cozy on the pot, and then gave it a quick spray paint, and it looks rather nice. So I'm almost done with this row, and I just want to give you an idea of what it looks like. I'm usually a lot faster than this. It's just that the jute it's a little bit harder to work with. Okay, I'm at the end of the row. Before I add a stitch to start going in the other direction, okay, let me see if I can hold this. And you can already see an improvement. And I do like this color, this natural color of the jute. They sell jute in all sorts of colors. There's reds and blues and purples and things like that. I think those would look really, really nice. I mean, it's really completely up to you. I might just leave this one as, you know, natural color. So let me show you the other one that I did. And what I'll do is, I've already painted it. I should have, you know, taken a little footage of what it looked like beforehand. I think I have the right idea. I think I know what I'm going to do. Okay, so here is the one that I already did. I went all the way to the top. Okay, when I got to the top, I just knotted it. Now this is, I know there's a lot of scraggliness going on right here because this is actually the inside. Okay, so it just slips right over the top of it, and it's kind of like a, I don't know, like a really wide, thin headband, or like a cowl scarf. Okay, but once the panel was done, so you can imagine that this was one long piece, I then crocheted the seam together. Okay, and I decided that I was going to go with a sage color. Okay, so here you can see the seam. All right, and then it's really quite nice. It just slips right over the ugly pot. And slide it on. It hugs it nicely. And for literally nothing, okay, the price of a roll of jute twine and maybe some paint if you want to decide to paint it, and this homely, this ugly pot, okay, very utilitarian that you may not have use for otherwise, turns into something that's a little bit nicer that you could plant and maybe have it on your patio that you're going to feel confident in, you know, displaying to everybody. So I like it. It's fun. Now you could, if you wanted to, you could attach some kind of a handle to it. Okay, you could, you know, maybe do a chain or two, or maybe you can just braid the jute and you can make it a hanging basket. I mean, the world is really, it's really up to you. But if you are savvy with the crochet hook and you have a bit of spare time on your hands and you have the necessary around, which I had a lot of, then it's a great, easy project that you can do in one evening. Yay. So these aren't the only types of pots that I have lying around. I do have several different types of pots that kind of, they look like they need a little bit of a facelift. So here's another interesting idea that I didn't come up with it. I'm sure people have done it before, but anyways, I'm gonna go grab those other pots. I think they're done drying, and I'm gonna show you what those look like. Now, sometimes when you're buying plants, potted plants, and you go to a garden center and they'll have displays as patio plants, and so they'll have flowers, they'll have different types, and you know, they look relatively nice. You've got your, you know, your trailing plants that come over the side, and then you've got the, you know, the main focal point, et cetera, and they usually will come in these plastic pots, these faux terracotta plastic pots, and they're somewhat convincing, I guess, but you could still tell that they're like a plastic pot, okay? Unless you've got a really, really good type of, you know, maybe a trailing petunia or something like that to cover it up. You know, people may be, they may be fooled into thinking that it's an actual terracotta pot. But I'm not. And since these are going on my patio, I wanted to do something that was going to make them look a little bit more posh without breaking the bank. Because you, as you know, pots in general, if you want terracotta or any type of stone, ceramic, they can be pricey. And yeah, I realize that they, you know, you pay for the quality, et cetera, but when you're doing things on a budget, it's not always the best thing. So what I did is I got myself some this really interesting paint, okay? And I got it while I was getting my jute twine at that particular store. And it was on a closeout. And it's a spray paint. I think I got it for like $2. It's a spray paint that when you spray the surface, it gives that look, that illusion of stone, like texture. It is the most interesting paint I think I've ever used. They do make paints that when you spray the object, it makes it look like, you know, hammered copper and stuff like that, which it's really interesting. So I got a can of this stone spray paint. It was like $2. I think it was normally much more expensive. And so I thought, I'm gonna give that a go. I'm gonna see what that looks like on my ugly plastic pots and see if I can make an improvement. So let's go out to the garden and I'm gonna show you exactly the process. It was super easy. Oh my gosh, super easy, super cheap, super fast, instant gratification. Crazy, right? That spray, I want to show you because I did actually bring one in. Okay, it's still a little wet. Look at this. Look at the texture on that. See that spot right there? That's where my thumb was just in. Yeah. So it gives that look of stone, and then I just gave it, as you can see, I have a lot of sage paint from a project. I don't know if you can see. So it's got that look of stone, painted stone. Sorry, you're probably wondering why I'm looking down. It's because I can control my camera through my phone. So I'm making sure that I get the shot here. Yeah. So from this to this. I'm really pleased. A couple bucks. That's all it was. Just a couple bucks. And I've got enough paint where I can do a bunch of these and have matching. I can have matching pots. Yeah. You could go with different colors, whatever you want. The world is your oyster. Oh. So that's just a couple of, little fun tips for, I guess this is an upcycle in a way. Upcycling your old pots, your old ugly pots that you could use to make things look really, really pretty, but they are just too homely to put out for the public to see. So, yes. I hope you all had a really, really nice Easter weekend. I had a wonderful weekend. I had spent time with family and it was great. And it's so funny, since I've gotten this channel going, my parents have really been into watching these videos, which I absolutely love. And they always give me the update on, what they've seen and everything. And yes, I am nearly 43 years old and I still get an Easter basket from Mom and Dad, which is lovely. And the only thing that the only candy that I usually get are Cadbury cream eggs, because those are my absolute favorite. Excuse me. So I got my Cadbury cream eggs from Mom and Dad, and then along with that, they gave me all of these wonderful little plant things, all these little garden things. So I have just a few here. It's this adorable little galvanized trough, and okay, flowering herbs / herbs, echinacea, lavender, and chamomile. And it's non-GMO, 100% natural seeds. All right, and it comes with some of that coconut core, all right, that you soak in water, and it expands really big. If you guys remember seeing when I was planting my my daffs, my what was it, yeah, anyways, that was a long time ago. And then packets of seeds, and I've got purple coneflower, chamomile, and lavender. English lavender. Good, because, yeah, any other type of lavender does not fare well in Buffalo winters. So, yeah, so wasn't that cute? And then also, this bag, and these are tubers, or they're, you know, plant sets. And there is, let's see, I don't know if you can see. I'll hold it up here. 4 o'clocks, which I always do from seed, so it'll be nice to see how this goes. And then up here, some Equilegia or Columbine. And then the big picture, of course, is the coneflowers. And it came in this adorable paper bag. And look at the back. Look at the vent on it. It's a butterfly. How cool is that? I said to my dad, I'm like, you know what's sad? I've been gardening so much that I didn't even have to look at, you know, the pictures to know all of the Latin terminology for the plants. And I was like, 4 o'clock, coneflower, and columbine. My dad looks at me, he's like, don't be a snob. So yeah, thanks, Mom and Dad. I absolutely love it. I love everything that's garden related. So I guess that's it. This is a short one for you guys today. I've got to get into digging up that garden some more. I think I might be pleasantly surprised. I did do a little dig here and there on the beds that were closer to the garage, and there are no roots. So I might have a hybridized garden this year. I might dig in the 3 big beds that are closest to that tree, and then no dig for the rest of them. We'll see. I have to get stuck in on getting the whole bed turned over and see what's going on there, but oh my gosh, that would save me so much time. It would be great. All right, so that's it for me, guys, and I'll be bringing more to you very, very soon. I hope you guys are well and taking advantage of the glorious weather we've been having here in the Northeast. If you are here, I heard my British friends had a bit of snow, and I'm sorry about that. I really am. I know your pain. Believe me, I do. I hope it melts faster than it falls, my friends. Take care, and I'll be back really soon. So long.